In today's video, we will talk about basic emotions. Emotions are psychophysiological reactions.
These are the ways a person reacts to various events in life. The word emotion is translated as movement towards action. A distinctive feature of basic emotions is that they are easily transformed into desire and action. Emotions are unconscious, arise automatically and for a short time, but they may be fully or partially conscious, or they may not be conscious at all. Basic emotions are elementary innate emotions that are no longer split into anything, and are themselves components of other, complex emotions. A person is born and already has the ability to experience them. Facial expressions, when broadcasting one's own emotions, are an innate feature of everyone, regardless of nationality, religion, situation, and even socio-cultural affiliation. It is believed that higher animals also have basic emotions. There are different classifications of basic emotions, developed by different authors and including different numbers of them. My favorite classifications are those of Carol Izard and Paul Ekman. These authors identify 7 basic emotions, like 7 colors in a palette, like 7 notes in an octave. 7 basic emotions that nature gave us. If we don't understand why we need these emotions, we may not to use correctly them. Once we understand the function of each emotion, we have a better understanding of how to use it. Why did emotion come to us and how to direct it in a constructive direction?
Let's understand the 7 basic emotions.
The first emotion is interest. Carol Izard, one of the researchers in the psychology of emotions, argued that the emotion of interest arises when we anticipate receiving some kind of pleasure from satisfying your needs. If the need is activated and satisfying, it will bring us pleasure. We become interested in it and want to move in this direction. If we have no interest in something, we apparently do not have such a need, or we have lost pleasure from this event. The second basic emotion is the emotion of surprise. Surprise has become a scarce emotion. The more rigid patterns we have of perceiving how things should be, the less we are surprised. Surprise always arises when something violates the pattern of our perception, and this is an intermediate emotion that prepares us for the next reactions. When we are surprised, our eyes open, our mouth opens, our hearing sharpens so that we can more accurately assess what is happening, so that we get as much information as possible about what is happening to make a decision. The third basic emotion is the emotion of joy. Joy is the psychological reward for making efforts to satisfy needs. We do something and make an effort to receive this positive confirmation, pleasure. If we have pleasure, we want to continue to have it. This way we will be consistently motivated. If we have lost the ability to feel joy in life and lost interest, and this happens for a month, this may indicate that we are in a depressed state. If we have enough interest and joy in life, we can say that everything is in order with our emotional sphere. It is healthy. The fourth basic emotion is the emotion of fear. Fear is always with us. Nature gave us fear so that we could preserve ourselves, in order to minimize the danger. Thanks to fear we are alive to this day. Fear protects us. But if there is a lot of fear in life, then we experience constant stress and tension. We don't want to move and expand our comfort zone. We want to be in our own safety zone. Therefore, you need to learn to cope with fear. The fifth basic emotion is the emotion of anger. In the emotion of anger, we feel very strong. Nature gave us the emotion of anger so that we could defend our boundaries. Each of us has physical and psychological boundaries. Physical boundaries are the boundaries of our body. Psychological boundaries are everything we consider ours. It is very important to be able to set boundaries. Say no. Say that I don't like something. The person develops expansively. He tries what is possible and what is not. And he will try until he encounters some boundaries of other people. If you don't do this, then at some point you may find another person sitting on your head. Therefore, anger is also for us. But his expression needs to be adjusted, because we often get angry where there is no point in being angry, or we become angry to a degree that the situation does not deserve. Therefore, anger is a weapon that you need to learn to use. The sixth basic emotion is the emotion of sadness. We need sadness to cope with loss. We form emotional connections with what we hold dear. If something is dear and valuable to you, this indicates that you have formed an emotional connection with it, and the loss of this will be associated with emotional pain. And sadness provides the best process of rehabilitation of our psyche. The goal of sadness is for emotions to leave the situation and just a situation to remain, like our life experience. This means that the situation has been overcome. Thoughts about her no longer cause such strong feelings and pain, and we move on. Izzard also argued that when we are sad, our consciousness slows down, and we have the opportunity to evaluate our lives. Look at different aspects of your life. See what is good and what is bad. Are we going there? Are we working with? Are we friends with? Are we loving? Are we behaving in the way that is valuable to us and we would like? This gives you the opportunity to rethink your life and make some changes. It is very important to be sad. You need to be able to cry. Thanks to this, we unload our psyche from excess burden and move on. The seventh basic emotion is the emotion of disgust. We are disgusted by what is toxic. Initially, these are physiological things, something that looks and smells bad. But in the future, a person may experience disgust even to some type of activity. To some people, when a person experiences disgust, he literally begins to feel sick from it. This suggests that what he comes into contact with has become toxic to him. Maybe it was useful once, and now there is so much of this that a person can no longer be in this space. He needs a break from this to recover. If this is not done, it is fraught with deeper poisoning. Therefore, disgust is also always for us. Paul Ekman adds to the basic emotions the emotion of contempt, as a variant of the emotion of disgust, moral, social disgust towards other people or towards oneself. Scientists have long debated whether contempt is a basic emotion. Initially, it appeared on this list in the works of Paul Ekman, but it was so little studied that for a long time it was on the periphery, like Pluto, which was either recognized as a planet of the solar system, then demoted, then returned back. Contempt, like all basic emotions, has a unique, recognizable facial expression. It is easy to read, even if the words do not contain any negativity. Expressing contempt, a person literally becomes taller. He straightens up, slightly throws his head back and looks at the object of contempt as if from top to bottom, with an asymmetrical smile. According to recent data, contempt is also a defensive reaction. We need this emotion to demonstrate superiority over our opponent. Remember, nature made it so that self-defense costs living creatures as little blood as possible. The emotion of contempt is just one of the tools to achieve this goal. In the world of wildlife, things rarely come to the point of suicidal confrontation. If an animal sees a more dominant opponent, then, most likely, it will not push it to a fight. Contempt is a warning, as if saying, I am stronger, there is no need for us to conflict, I will win anyway. And, if recognized in time, this emotion can really prevent conflict, if it is not perceived as a personal insult. There are no good and bad emotions. Every emotion is a bell, created to be listened to. All emotions are necessary for our survival. If we understand the nature of this emotion, why it arises, it is easier for us to manage it. All other emotions and feelings consist of these primary elements. To increase your emotional awareness, you need to ask yourself the question, how am I feeling now? Several times a day. We have two choices in life. Or we control our emotions, or emotions control us.
Let's be masters of our lives. Mindfulness is the true path.